You just loaded up TM Talk, the one pod to learn it all. I'm Professor Tommy.
And I'm Professor Ashley. Whether you're new to the Pokemon TCG or a seasoned trainer, we're here to help you level up your play, master the rulings, and grow your community one episode at a time.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of TM Talk. I am Professor Tommy, joined as always with my good friend and co-host, Professor Ashley. And it's been a while. You know, we took some time off because of Thanksgiving and just some craziness around the holiday schedule. So I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving for those who celebrated. Hopefully it was an awesome time, but we are very excited to come back to you once again with another episode. And we're going to just go over a couple of events that we've kind of missed since we were gone. We're going to talk about LAIC, so the Latin America International Championships. We're going to talk about those results, a little bit of controversy that happened there, and then also the latest and last regional we're going to have before the new year, which is Stuggart. So pretty awesome time there. That was the first event with the Phantasmal Flames set being legal. So really excited to look at what the meta has changed and has evolved in with this new set coming in and giving us a lot of ideas as we move forward into the new year and looking towards Toronto as the next regional coming up after that time. So pretty awesome, pretty excited to talk about all this stuff. But first, once again, so awesome to be able to have such an interactive group and audience that we've been talking to. I hope you guys all enjoyed as much as we have with getting fan questions and getting your guys' comments on all of our socials, which is at X, Instagram, and YouTube at TM Talk Podcast. Really great to see your guys' comments and be able to read them to you out here on our show and hopefully answer some questions you all may have. So let's just jump right into that. So the first one I have is actually an email that we got to tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. This one is from ammckay00@gmail.com. AM McKay writes, "Hello, Amy from Vegas here. I'm a longtime listener and first-time emailer. I have a question for you. What is the most rarest and most expensive Pokemon card? Love your podcast. I knew absolutely nothing about Pokemon until I started listening to you guys. Each episode, I gained more knowledge. Thank you guys. Stay safe and happy holidays." Well, happy holidays to you too, Amy. Appreciate that. Thank you for writing in. And I'd love to answer your question about what is the most rarest and most expensive Pokemon card. And actually, those two go into one. So the rarest and most expensive Pokemon card is the 1998 Pikachu Illustrator card. It was awarded to winners in 1998 during a Japanese illustration contest. Only 39 copies were ever produced, making it the scarcest officially released card in existence. So definitely with the limited print run of just 39 copies alone makes it very, very valuable. And with a PSA 10, copies sold for $5.275 million. That's the highest priced ever paid for a Pokemon card. It's pretty cool because on the actual card itself, instead of saying trainer, like most trainer cards do, it actually says illustrator. So that's very, very unusual for a Pokemon card. I believe it's the only card that actually has that title on it. And it's historically important because of that 1998 contest. And that's what makes it like the holy grail of Pokemon cards for any kind of avid collector. So definitely if you want to shell out $5.2 million to get yourself a hands on a PSA 10 Illustrator Pikachu card, you are the creme de la creme of Pokemon card collectors. Just to compare, the next valuable produced cards was the first edition Shadowless Charizard back in 1999. That's with a PSA 10 copy selling for $420,000. So definitely a big gap between those two cards. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Amy. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of Pokemon trivia you can use out there with your family and friends. That 1998 Pikachu Illustrator card's most rare and most expensive Pokemon card out there. Ashley, I know you got some comments for us from YouTube. If you want to read some of those.
I do. We actually got a couple different ones. On two different videos, actually. So the very first one was from dpasula63, and I just kind of laughed when I read it. And it said, the utter disrespect not calling Dragapult BDIF LOLs.
We have a Dragapult lover there in D Pasula, so definitely. Hey, sorry for offending you, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. We all have our opinions, and that's what makes this game so great.
Mm-hmm. And it is a very good deck. But personally, I don't really, I mean, I know why people say BDIF, but I try to tend not to use that term, me personally. So you will probably hardly ever hear me say that. But moving on to the next comment, it was from Griffin292, and it said, spoiler alert, see below. Tommy, I saw that you dropped on day 1, which had my brain thinking, professors, how do you calculate whether or not you will make to day 2? Why not continue to fight it out for a higher placing? What other processes do you have that would factor into whether to stick with it or just drop and relax? Asking as someone who has never been to a regionals. This is actually a really good question. So, Tommy, I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Yeah, definitely. So, just to be clear, right? Like, I did not drop from the tournament. So whenever you go to a regional or above, that's a 2-day tournament structure they have. So the first day is Swiss rounds. Normally now they changed it from it's the matters of people of attendance, but the normal play is going to be 8 rounds for that phase 1. If you want to let's call it that, right? Phase 1, you have 8 Swiss rounds, right? If you have 8 Swiss rounds, and you have to make 16 match points to be able to move on to phase 2. So you get 3 match points for every match you have won, and you get 1 match point for every tie that you have. So doing the math there, to get 16, right, you can go 5x1, right? So like if you had 5 times 3 is 15, plus the 1 from the tie, they get you 16 match points. And then you have 3 games that you can either drop or something like that. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 more games you have. So right, so out of 5 wins and 1 tie, you played 6 total rounds. You have 2 more rounds that you can drop. So from that tells you, okay, the worst I can do is lose 2 games. If I lose more than 2 games, I'm not going to make it to day 2. So then from there, it's like, then it's really up to you, right? I always recommend to play out the entire phase 1 Swiss rounds, because as mentioned in the comment by Griffin292, like, why not keep fighting for a higher placing? And you can. Just because you don't make it to phase 2 doesn't mean that you can't get like championship points from competing in the regional. I forget the exact placing, but I think like top 600 around there, give or take, and it's in the tournament rules handbook if you want to go check that out and look at like where those championship points prize outs are. But pretty much if like the top 600, give or take, you can get like 20 championship points from it, and then it goes up from there, right? So I played all the way out, all 8 rounds. What happens is that if you do not make it to phase 2 in the matchmaking system in TOM, which is the tournament operation management tool that Pokemon uses, that we use at all the leagues for all your challenges, cups, regionals, all that kind of stuff. That's the organizing tool that we have. If you don't make it to phase 2, it drops you, and I'm using quotation marks as you can see that through a podcast, but it drops you from the tournament because it says, hey, you didn't make it to phase 2, so we're going to remove you from the matchmaking process and continue on with the tournament. So that's why it shows anybody who doesn't make it to day 2 or phase 2 is dropped from the tournament. But you can tell if they dropped earlier or not by their record. So if they have at least 8 matches on their record of whatever it was, like mine was 332, so that's 8 matches. You could tell that I played all the way through day 1. So really convoluted answer there. There's a lot of stuff going on. There are some regional tournaments, depending on the turnout. You can actually even play 9 rounds in that phase 1. If you play 9 rounds, it goes up from I'm sorry, 16 match points up to, I believe, uh, 19, right? Yeah, 19 match points. So then once again, you can go X2. What I mean by X2 is that whatever that win number is, you can still only drop two games before you are out of phase two. So hopefully that helped you understand that process a little bit more. Once again, right, if you check out the tournament rules handbook, it goes through all those different things about how many rounds are played during a regular Swiss pairing, depending on how many players are there, and then how many rounds do you play in phase two, and then before you get to top cut, what is top cut? Is it 16? Is it 8? That's all dependent on the players per division as well. So the masters can play more rounds and have a bigger cut than the juniors and seniors, depending on the turnout for that age division as well. So definitely some cool little nerd trivia if you want to check that out in that tournament rules handbook. Ashley, you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think you've pretty much covered it all. I know for me, my very first season playing, we did 9 rounds, like every single regional that I did. So, your matches are always going to depend on the turnout. Like Tommy said, if you have more players, you're going to play more rounds. If you have less players, you can play less rounds. Like right now, most regionals are doing 8 rounds. But for me, getting the experience is more important than my record most of the time. So I like to play out all my matches, whether I'm winning or losing, because for me, getting the experience, it still tests my skills. And sometimes you can have some really good games, even towards the end of the day. And I've actually had some of my more fun matches played towards the end of the day whenever I'm out of contention for day two or phase two. So it really just kind of depends on what your goal is. If you want to get that higher placement, definitely try. And a lot of people, what they do is they'll play and try and get X amount of wins. And if they can't, then they just drop because they don't want to make their score, they don't want to drop in the placements lower. Because the more losses you do have, it will bring your placement down a little bit. But if you don't care about that, I suggest just playing it all the way through.
Yeah, for sure. And a great point that Ashley brought up there is that, you get that experience, and you're definitely playing people that you don't play at your local scene either. So like you could definitely have a different collection of skills you're playing against, right? And really testing your skills and your experience and gaining more knowledge playing those different rounds. So great point that you made there, Ashley. And also too, like as you mentioned, right, a lot of times the last couple of rounds is the ones that are like the more fun, because as you're in contention, right, it becomes more and more like serious about, okay, who's going to win this? Who's not going to win this? We got, like I need to win this so I can get to phase two. And you may run into people who don't definitely want to talk to you until after the games are done. And then depending on the outcome of those games, they may not want to talk to you at all. But as you know, if you do find yourself out of contention for day two, that doesn't mean that your time to play is over, or that your time to have fun is over. Like as long as you're playing Pokemon, you should be having fun. And I think as you go lower on the placement bracket, as you go down that route, you find more people who are there because they like to compete, they like to play Pokemon, they like to have fun, and they're willing to have a fun game with you, right? And it feels like the pressure's off your back. You can kind of relax and maybe now kind of put into practice some of the things that you learned from your other games that maybe you've didn't turn out well for you, right? So definitely, I feel the same as Ashley. I say, play all your rounds, unless you really like. My mental state is not great. Like I feel totally like off, and I don't want to do this anymore, and it's not fun for me. That's the only time I would say, hey, go ahead and just drop and stop playing. But even if you play all the way through, you're always going to do better than somebody who dropped. If they went like X3 and dropped, but you decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to go all the way through and play all 8 of my rounds, and they only played 3 rounds, you're always going to place higher than them. right? So just keep that in mind too, that if you want to see how well you can do all the way through the end, then play it all the way out. And that'd be my suggestion for you.
Yep. And I've always something that I've always done is, would I like to get a high placement? Yes, of course I would. But I have to put it in a lot more practice than I usually do. Um, but my goal typically, anytime that I go to a regional, is just to try and do better than I did the time before. Especially with the changing of the metas, sometimes it's harder. You might not make the right meta call and you may not do as well. But even if your record isn't as well, you can still put those skills into place. And that's what I typically try to do, is if I can get a higher placement or more wins than the last time, I'm doing great. And if not, then I just try to focus on my skills.
Yeah. And that's a great attitude to take with it, right? Like, you have to understand, to do well at Pokemon, you have to treat it like a job, essentially, right? And like, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. So the more practice and the more quality practice, like we've been talking about in our previous episodes, your quality practices, really understanding your matchups, your outs, your win conditions in those specific matchups as well, understanding your like optimal board state, things like that. Really understanding your tech cards, and when they come into play, and all those kind of things, like, really takes a lot of time and effort on your part. Like, nobody can just pick up a deck the day of and go, okay, I'm going to make day 2 with this, without like having that general concept and knowledge of like, I know how this deck works. I know what I should do in these matchups. So if you don't have that knowledge, definitely put it in the work and grinding that. It is going to, what's going to take to get you to that level to where you can get to those day 2s and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we got on regionals. I'm still kind of blown back. Like, I know the 1998 Pikachu card was very rare and expensive, but I did not know the PSA 10 version was $5.2 million. Like, I was like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the most sought out ones. It's crazy.
Yeah, I cannot imagine spending that much on a card, but man, what would it be like to sell one of those?
I would just love to see it like in person, even if I don't own it. Like, I would love to see a 100% authentic Illustrator Pikachu card.
I'd be making people put on, like, if I had it, I'd be like, okay, I'll show you. We got to put on these gloves. Don't breathe directly on this card. So
no
take
germs.
Take some precautions. But yeah, no, I mean, it's wild, but that's pretty cool. So I mean, there's a lot of cool cards out there, and if you guys have any other questions about regionals or about cards or about anything about Pokemon whatsoever, hey, feel free to reach out to us at all of our socials at TM Talk Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and X. And of course, you can email us too at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Like I said before, we love reading these. We love answering you guys' questions because it tells us that we're talking about things you want to know and discuss. So if you had some ideas for future topics for our episodes and things like that, let us know. I really do appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, because we're gonna have some fun ones coming up this next month because we don't have any more regionals.
Exactly. So before we hop into the final regionals that we've seen for the year, Ashley, how has your week been? Your weeks, I should say, because we've been off for a little bit. How have you been so far? What have you been up to recently?
I have been just absolutely drowned in work. So, like I've said before, I work for a delivery service and I load the trucks in the morning. But during this time where it's Black Friday and Christmas and all these holidays coming up, obviously packages pick up like, I feel like 1,000%. So they also hire on driver's helpers, and basically we just ride along with the drivers and then we help them deliver it so they're not out until like midnight at night trying to deliver these things. So not only have I been doing my own job, I've also been helping with that. So I've been working anywhere between 10 and 12-hour days recently, and they just added a 6th day on for us for the time being. So I have been drowned in work and I am exhausted. And unfortunately, I didn't get to play any Pokemon last week because I was busy working the night that we had a league. And then because of the holidays, we didn't have league this past weekend because we did not want to be in the craziness in the midst of Black Friday crazy. It gets crazy anywhere, I feel like. Um, so I'm dying to play some Pokemon. I'm really hoping that I get to go to League tomorrow, and if not, I may just have to hop on live. And I don't play live a whole lot anymore. So, but other than that, I've been doing all right. Just trying to stay healthy and everything. How has your week been? I know right now you're out of town again, back in Las Vegas.
I am. It just called my name. I couldn't be gone for long. No, I'm actually here for a work conference of what's going on here because, like I said, I do software development. And AWS is doing a conference right now in Las Vegas. So that's where I am recording out of, actually a hotel room. So I'm not staying with family this time. They could not have me stay for that long in a row. No, but I'm out here doing this conference and enjoying it and seeing some of this cool stuff that AWS has to offer. But yeah, it's been a busy couple weeks for me as well. Just coming back from Vegas, so getting back, unpacking and kind of getting back into our routine for like the week that I was back, and then doing Thanksgiving. And then during that whole time, if you're part of our Pokemon community, as Ashley's talking about packages, we had some drama going on with a package of ours and things like that, and just drama in general with our Pokemon League. I won't go into as far as all that like horrible details, but it's just great to know that a lot of things were resolved to as much as they could be from the help of our Pokemon community, people reaching out and people doing their part and like wanting to make sure that our Pokemon community stays strong. So I really do appreciate. So I want to make sure I say that directly on here that, hey, thank you so much to everybody who responded to our messages in the Facebook group for our Pokemon League and that have been there for us and have helped us shoulder some of this stress and made sure that they were there. They were there for us and we were there for each other. So I really do appreciate that. That's what makes this hobby so like enjoying. It's not just like it's fun to play, but it's also awesome to see so many people get together from like different backgrounds and different places and just have fun together and be able to like enjoy each other's company and try to help each other out as much as they can because of the shared love of Pokemon. So it's pretty cool. So I do appreciate it a lot. But going through all that, going through that drama with that, and then also I was able, but good news in Pokemon World, I was able to actually pass my my gold rank exam in Pokemon. So I am a gold professor. I love gold.
Woo!
So
Congratulations.
thank you. Appreciate that. So it's really awesome because it was something that kind of like took me out of my comfort zone of being a professor. Like I've done TCG for a very long time since the start of me being a professor, doing like judging and things like that and organizing. And so then I had to kind of like reach out and like as we've been discussing Pokemon Go, I decided to go for my Pokemon Go certification, which was something I needed to do to be able to move on to gold rank, as well as answer some questions, like kind of give essay answers on like my professor experience and some of the questions that they asked me about my experience as a professor was helped me grow. So enjoyed looking back and talking about those kind of things, and I'm glad to see that it was what was needed for that. So I'm excited about that. So good news there on that in that front. But yeah, just busy with work once again. Like even me here for this conference, I'm still like trying to find like little nooks and crannies in like a hotel somewhere to be able to do meetings or to review some code or stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff going on at one point. So looking forward to getting back home and hoping that stuff can start calming down near Christmas and things like that. So definitely been busy. And I've also, in the meantime, have been able to find some time to watch some Pokemon, watch some regionals and some events that was going on, especially LAIC and Stuggart. So let's jump into LAIC, and just talk about those different games that are happening there. Let's jump right into it because I think LAIC was really cool. Latin America International Championships. It's always the first international championships we have of the season. It's where all the best players come to play and to show their skills and to try to win, get up to the top 4 to punch their ticket to Worlds, but also to win and say, hey, I won an international, right? Like it's bigger prize money, more points, more prestige, all that kind of cool stuff. You get a trophy instead of a medal, all that kind of fun stuff. So let's jump right into it with Pokemon Go. I did watch the finals of Pokemon Go at LAIC. It was Nighttime Clasher versus Patamon. Nighttime Clasher came out victorious on that from the winner's bracket. There was a bracket reset, but Nighttime Clasher still was able to come back and take the win on that. His winning team was Dugong, Gyarados, Metacham, Metang, Oranguru, and Tortonator. So what was really cool about this matchup that I saw was that Patamon and Nighttime Clasher battled each other before. However, it seemed like I don't have Patamon's team in front of me because I could not find it at that time, but there was, I think they were pretty close. The only difference that they had was that Patamon was playing a Shadow Dusknoir, and it's heavily countered by Oranguru. So it was kind of like this rock paper scissors game of like who's going to start what, and Nighttime Clasher just seemed to always come out on top with knowing what starter to come out with, being able to pick the right team to counter Patamon, and be able to come out on top with that team. So it was really interesting to me to see that. And then also after LAIC, or after that match was complete, they announced for EUIC that it's going to be a limited meta for EUIC for Pokemon Go. So what that means is that they're banning certain Pokemon. They're only allowing certain types of Pokemon to be on your team during that time. So it's really interesting to see that. I believe they did that here at LAIC as well. And that's why we have a little bit different team where we haven't seen a lot of these Pokemon before, like Dugong and Tortonator and Metang and Oranguru, because this is a limited meta. So really your team building skills are put to the test as you find out like what can I play, what can't I play, and then okay, of the types and of the Pokemon I can play, which are the best, and then how can I counter those? What kind of text can I put on there? So really cool to see the innovation from those Pokemon Go players. So congratulations to Nighttime Clasher. I'm looking forward to watching EUIC and seeing how that limited meta kind of evolves for Pokemon Go. Ashley, you have anything to add for Pokemon Go or anything like that?
I don't have anything to add for Pokemon Go. However, I did want to say, when you were talking about LAIC right before you jumped into Go, the thing that's cool about the internationals, if you don't know, they are a little bit different than regionals, where regionals are 2 days, where they do a day 1 and then day 2 and everybody's done. But the internationals are really cool because they have basically their day 1, their day 2, and then they play all their finals on the 3rd day. So it kind of gives those people who are playing in the finals kind of like a night to relax instead of playing continuously. And I feel like sometimes you can get a little bit more better games out of the people who are playing in the finals. So that's something that I always really like about the internationals, is that it is a little bit longer, but it also gives those players in the finals a little extra time to rest to prepare for a fantastic battle. So that was just something that I wanted to say about that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the VG. So at the time of recording this, it is now December 1st, and all the results that I'm going to say from today are going to be the last of what we see of these Pokemon that we've been seeing for the past X amount of months, because today the regulation changes for VG. And so we are changing and we are going back to regulation set F. So we're going to see some different teams after this. But for the last ones in the regulation, and first was Yuma Kinyugawa, and he had Whimsicott, Incineroar, Flamigo, which is actually really cool, Hisui and Typhlosion, Farigiraf, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. And then in second place was Juan Salerno with Rillaboom, Incineroar, Goldango, Sneasler, Dragonite, and Blood Moon. And unfortunately, I didn't get to watch any of this because I've been just super busy with work. But I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know who the first and second placements were anyway.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I actually appreciate that for keeping us up to date with VG. And I'm excited to see what kind of new Pokemon are coming out for VG. 'Cause I think just like with Go, right, changing up the meta for them a little bit and making it once again like, hey, like let's start stretching our brain here and figuring out what Pokemon are going to do really well in these different sets. So looking forward to that. All right, so let's jump into TCG. I think if you watched LAIC, the big story from day one was Gabriel Fernandez and how unstoppable he was. This was his first IC as a master, so 16 years old as a master, playing against other seasoned master trainers, and he went all the way up to all the way through day one, all the way through day two, and finished with a record of I believe what I want to say here is 15-0-2. He was undefeated all the way up, and he seemed like he was going to be the one going to the finals on Sunday to face Pedro Pertusi. However, on Championship Sunday is what they call it, we received a message through X, and then also all the casters told us that the finals was going to be Sebastian Lashmint versus Pedro Pertusi, and without a lot of explanation on the region, at least on the regional side, we didn't get anything official from Pokemon, and they just said it was just a change. So that kind of brings up the controversial topic of like what happened. Why is Gabriel no longer in the finals? And come to find out, it's due to a disqualification. So then the rumor mill goes crazy about, it's because his brother was sending him hand signals, because he was peeking at his deck the entire time. He was stacking his deck, and it was really sad to see the kind of like witch hunt on socials, on X, to kind of figure out what's going on with Gabriel and his disqualification, right? And really, so like it's sad to see it because he's such a well-known name in the Pokemon competitive scene, especially with TCG, with his outstanding season that he had last season, his final season as a senior, where he won every IC there was and came in as the finalist at Worlds as well. So really coming out here, I know there's a lot of pressure on him to do well, and so people kind of ran with that, and rumor mill started flying, right? Gabriel actually came out with a message of his own, a known statement that he did about his disqualification, which was, got DQ'd at LAIC because I did a riffle shuffle once versus Sebastian on top 4 stream with the cards facing me. You can see that on the stream, and I don't see a big problem because I did randomize it a lot with mass shuffling and facing the other way after that riffle. But the judge said I didn't do it enough. To be honest, I am not a magician, and they said I memorized a bunch of cards. So after Sebastian shuffled my deck as well, I knew the order of my deck. I have never cheated / stacked in a game, so that's rock bottom for me. From celebrating my undefeated run and facing a friend in finals to getting DQ'd for not apparently shuffling enough so I could memorize cards after Sebastian shuffled my deck. At Gadan's stream, I asked the judge if that shuffle was fine, and he said, okay, if you randomize it a ton after. But now this happened. Well, thanks to all the kind people who looked up to me and took pictures with me during the events. You guys are the ones who motivated me to become better every day. I'm officially retiring from Pokemon. So And once again, this is a 16-year-old kid playing this game and having so much pressure from social media, from all these other members of the Pokemon community about what's going on and making accusations and um, I mean, for lack of a better term, like calling for his head on a platter because he got DQ'd and nobody knows. And so that caused a lot of stir during Championship Sunday. And I think it kind of took away from the finals as well, from the mirror match we got, which was Sebastian versus Pedro with Jelly Guardy. So watching the stream back, and seeing like what happened. So it was in the middle of the game. So of course, cards are being taken out. He saw his prize cards. Yes, Gabriel took his deck and riffle shuffled with the cards facing up, facing towards him. After that, he mashed about 7 to 8 times, and riffle shuffled face down as well. Then Sebastian was able to shuffle and cut his deck as well. And then, so I guess from his account is that's what the judges told him that he got disqualified for, was for that face up riffle shuffle. I am not here to debate that call. I believe that the professors and judges at LAIC, they know what they're talking about. They have all the different X factors and nuances that are out there. So they have all the data, all the knowledge of what's going on at that time and why they decided to make that call. And I'll always defend a professor's judge call at that moment because I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the game and I don't know all the extra info about it. But what I can say is that I believe that I think TPCI should be, and that's the Pokemon card company, or company international, excuse me, the Pokemon Company International, should be more transparent about these DQs. To DQ somebody from the finals, that's not, I mean, one of your first internationals of the year without any explanation from the professor side or the organizer or the staff side, I think is unacceptable, because what we do now is we leave it open for people to make their own assumptions and to be able to attack each other on X is not what we want to do in this community. So for me, I think that Pokemon should have made some kind of statement about what it was or why they got DQ'd. We have them in other, if we look towards other sports, if we talk about esports or just sports in general, I can look up any player and see what kind of penalties they've gotten or, calls or things during a game or something like that. I think it should be the same with Pokemon now, or at least have some kind of report about why these calls were made or what the call was. Not knowing at all, I think it's not a way you should run a tournament, because then you have a 16-year-old kid trying to defend himself on X against a whole bunch of people who are way older than 16 trying to figure out what's going on or making accusations about it. So I don't think it's a way you protect your players. I think, and if anything, it should be a way to be more clear, more precise, and use it as a learning tool for players and for professors alike, about why calls were made and about how that should be done, because then we all have the knowledge of how to do these things and how to move forward in our tournaments. Ashley, you have any thoughts on this before we actually look at the actual results of LAIC for the TCG side?
I think one of the only things, like you said, I wasn't there. I can't make any comments on a judge call. That's not what we're here for. I think the only thing that was kind of disappointing was just seeing how many people basically attacked Gabriel. And I mean, I'm always one of those ones who is innocent until proven guilty. Obviously, there was a reason for the judge call. There was a reason for the disqualification. I do wish that we had, even if they didn't go into like super detail, just like a very easy statement, like very basic statement of why he was disqualified, because he shouldn't have to get all this hate from everybody. And I mean, I know people rage bait on X. That's one thing that I personally try to stay away from. So I'm sure some of it was probably that. But just to see the community tear down somebody so much for something when there was another player who also did something to get disqualified at a past big event, and I don't remember seeing this much hate towards them. It's just, I guess it's just kind of disappointing for the community because we're supposed to be there for each other, and it was, I don't know, it was just really disappointing to see all the hate comments.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I mean, it's making those calls are hard, especially as a professor, to be like, hey, we have to disqualify you. And on that grand stage too, because it's the internationals, everybody's watching it. The match was streamed, you know, but you don't get a lot of like time in the background to be like, hey, you know, like, should we make this call? Like, you know, and especially against such a popular player, but you know, the rules are for everybody. And therefore the calls should be known to everybody as well, so they can actually understand how these rules are being applied, so we can have some kind of like uniformity across the board with them as well. But yeah, I'm sure we could have a whole different episode on just that topic alone. But you know, to move on from that and to say that, hey, yes, we did have a finals at our TCG event. It was Pedro Pertusi versus Sebastian Lashment. Like I said, it was a mirror match of Gardy Jellicent, and Pedro did come out on top, winning that. So he is our TCG Masters winner for the LAIC. And then looking at the top 16, really great to see a little bit of diversity here. I mean, it's a lot of the decks that we've been talking about a lot in the past couple of regionals and tournaments that we've had, where we see a lot of Mega Absol boxes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mega Absol boxes in the top 16. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Goldango, Soul Rock, Lunatone combos up here as well. We have 1 lone Dragapult Dusknoir. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Gardevoir Jellicent decks, and then sprinkled in there is the one and only Enzorark box in the top 16 as well, played by Vinny Fernandez, Gabriel's brother. And we have also a single Marnie's Grimmsnarl, played by Takashi Yoneda from Japan. So a lot of decks that we've seen a lot of. One deck that I see that stands out that is not in the top 16 is a Charizard deck, and that once again was Gabriel's deck that he was playing, was a Dusknoir-less package Charizard. So playing the Monkey Dory, playing the Psyduck, and just watching him masterfully take this deck and go undefeated with it proves the power of Charizard in that meta. And because this was still Mega Evolutions, Phantasmal Flames was not legal at this time, to be able to come out on top. And of course, playing Jelly Guardy, I can't go back, change time, and then kind of predict the future, but a very favorable matchup into the finals for Gabriel Fernandez. So who knows what would have happened there. But there we are. So top 16 doesn't surprise me with the Mega Evolutions format. Anything you want to bring up on the top 16, Ashley? Anything that sticks out to your mind?
The only thing that really sticks out is, if you notice, there's no like straight Gardevoir decks. All of the ones that made it into top 16 are Gardevoir and Jellicent. So I think a lot more players are starting to play that, especially against all these dark types that are pulling up.
Yeah. The item lock is definitely a big equalizer against those dark types, especially like the Charizards, who more likely depend on Rare Candy or Ultra Ball to find their pieces that they need. And Marnie's Grimmsnarl as well, depending on those draw supporters and playing those items, and like the secret box you can't play if you're getting item locked by Frillish or Jellicent. So and it's also great against straight Gardevoir as well in that kind of quote unquote mirror match, right? Because the item lock definitely just stops the Gardevoir player from playing Buddy Poffins or Rare Candies or Earthen Vessels, things like that they usually play to get those energies and to get the Gardevoir EX out there. So yeah, definitely going to probably see a lot more of that in the future here. Anything else you want to talk about from LAIC, Ashley, before we move on to
Um,
Stuttgart?
I don't believe so. I wish I could have seen. I wish I could have watched a lot more of the LAIC. I may end up going back and watching some of it. But just being so busy from work, it stinks that I can't keep up with this as much as I had been.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we had like a lot of great players. I mean, that's the things. That's the stuff that's really cool about ICs because yeah, in a regional, you can have a couple of good players that come out and kind of compete against each other. But at ICs, the turnout is much more. It's more possible that a lot more of these high end players are coming out. So then you really see a lot of these cool matchups that maybe you've been wanting to see or wondering about. Like we had Henry Chow, William Acevedo, Steven Ivanov, Benny Billinger, and Pedro Patusi, all in those, like all in that top 16. And even below there, you have a lot more names that you probably have run across or have heard of in Masters. So you got to see a lot of cool matchups from that as well. So really excited to see all that and ready for the next IC that's going to come up, which is EUIC. But now jumping up into Stuggart. So Stuggart for Pokemon Go. Once again, I did not get to watch this Pokemon Go finals as much as I wanted to, but I can tell you that Inadequates did win in Stuttgart. The team's pretty cool. It's with Shadow Giratina, Alolan Ninetales, Talonflame, Furret, Empoleon, and Gastrodon. So definitely once again bringing out that Shadow Giratina, showing the power that it has. And then a Pokemon that I haven't seen too much of Pokemon Go, Alolan Ninetales, making its way out here. Probably a big a counter. You know, it can do fairy type moves, can do ice type moves. So definitely really good against dragon types and things like that. So pretty cool team to see that. And congratulations to Inadequate for winning Pokemon Go there. Ashley, what do you have for us for VG?
All right. So moving on to the VG. I also did not get to watch this again. I really hate not being able to watch some of this stuff. Like I love watching the Pokemon and I love watching whenever they stream it. So not being able to watch it, it kind of makes me sad. So but in first place we had Luca Ceribelli. So if you follow VG, you may recognize that name a little bit. But his team was Incineroar, Blood Moon, Ursaluna, one of my all-time favorites, Annihilate, Whimsicott, Hisui and Typhlosion, and Farigiraf. And then in second place is Eric Rios with Rillaboom, Goldango, Komodo, Primarina, Sneasler, and Smeargle. So, like I said before, we are now in a new regulation, so we will not see a lot of these combinations. I know a lot of people have been talking about. I think Raging Bolt is one of the ones that people were like, "Oh, I don't want to play this again." So we're probably going to see a lot of different teams. I'm interested to see it because I have not actually got to play in this regulation yet. But I am super excited and hoping that I can actually play in the next Grand Challenge as well, which is the online version of a challenge for players around the world. And you actually get actual championship points if you place high enough, which is super fun. I've done 2 of them. I missed the last one because I missed the registration because they do it in UTC time. And unfortunately, I didn't get signed up for it. But I'm excited for the next regulation. So, with that being said, Tommy, are you ready to jump into TCG?
Always. I'm super excited because Stuggart here with TCG was, as we mentioned previously, the first tournament with Phantasmal Flames cards. And I am a Charizard lover of TCG, and of course, you know, it was the big question is like, hey, is Mega Charizard X EX going to make a breakout at this tournament? How great is it going to do? What impact cards are going to be from Phantasmal Flames that are going to, you know, make these decks so much better, or different matchups, or even new deck archetypes altogether? What are we going to see in Stuggart? And so me and Ashley previously talked about what we thought were going to be really cool impact cards from Phantasmal Flames. Check out that episode if you want to hear our thoughts on some of these cards. But I was also hyped because a couple of things. Like, first and foremost, for me in competitive Pokemon TCG, I believe that nobody does it better than the Danes out there, because it's just wild to me. They have a really awesome group. Jesper Erickson, there's Oscar Madsen, and then we have other players as well, as Nikolai Styborg, and some other great players from the Danish side playing. And if you don't know who Oscar Madsen is, this guy is a genius with deck building. He does a lot of rogue decks as well. So things that you wouldn't see like in a real meta. But man, these decks are really cool, really awesome, fun to play. And I bring that up because one of his creations actually won Stuggart, and that is the Charizard Noctowl deck that was created by Oscar Madsen, piloted by Nikolai Styborg, to go undefeated in this tournament, and go all the way to first place. And it was this deck was wild. Like it. They did an interview with Nikolai before the finals match, and he goes, "This is a cheat code. This deck is." He's like, "I've never played a deck so powerful before that I just didn't care like what I played against. I was just like, I can just do what I want, and I am just like destroying everything in front of me." It did not play Mega Charizard X EX in there, but it did play some of the new Charmeleons, and it took advantage of a new supporter, Dawn. So there's been a lot of talk before this regional that a lot of people were like, well, Dawn's not as good as it appears to be. It's fake news. This is a psychop card, you know, all that kind of stuff. And here we are, a deck just won that regional, playing not one, but 4 copies of that card, deciding to not play Lily's Determination at all in that deck. Playing just 4 Dawn, 2 Iono, 2 Bosses, 1 Briar, to find all these 26 Pokemon that it plays, with the Klefki, the 2 Fanrotoms, 2 Terapagos EX. It has a Dusknoir package in there as well, a 2-1-1 Duskull, Dusknoir line. Playing the Pidgey and Pidgeot as well, but no Pidgeotto. And going for 3 Hoot Noctowl combos, and then still playing the 2-1-2, actually 3-2-2 line of Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, and splitting the Charmeleons. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm reading this wrong. It's they split the Charmanders. It is a 3-1-2 line of Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, with 2 Charmanders from Paldean Fates, the 1 new Charmander from Phantasmal Flames, which has a no retreat cost if there's no energy attached to it, and then the 110 HP Charmeleon from Phantasmal Flames as well, with 1 fire energy, doing steady fire breathing, destroying every Badoo in its path. So I think that's really been a really big game changer for Charizard, is that having these free pivot options with this Charmander, and also this beefier Charmeleon with a very low attack cost, being able to evolve up in a Charmeleon, attach 1 fire energy, and just say goodbye Badoo, now I can play everything I want, ha ha ha. So a really cool deck list all the way around. If you have not get a chance to see it, please go ahead and watch the finals game and check this deck list out, because I think it's really cool. Definitely playing the Prime Catcher as well in that deck list. And then as we look at the rest of the top 16 from Stuggart, we had a lot of some more Dragapult Dusknoirs, 1, 2, 3 total in the top 16, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Goldango Soul Rock combinations. There's 1 Goldango Joltik box, player in the top 16 as well. And then we got 1, 2, 3 Gardevoir, Jellicent archetypes as well. And then we had 2 other Charizard players in there playing the more traditional Charizard Pidgeot line, no Noctowls in there, but playing the Secret Box combo, and that is, I believe it's pronounced Olvind, and then also Hermione as well, playing the same 60 out there in the top 16. So cool decks all around. Any thoughts from you, Ashley, about the Charizard Noctowl deck or any of the other decks that we see in this top 16, or anything else that caught your eye from Stuggart?
I am definitely gonna have to go back and watch the finals match from this. They streamed this one, correct? Yes. So I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch and see how this Charizard Noctowl was piloted, because I got to see like the very like last 2 minutes of the game. So but I was like, oh, Charizard and Noctowl, that's very interesting. I haven't seen that together. But now that I'm looking at the actual list, the Charizard, the Pidgeot, the Dusknoir, the Terrapagos, definitely going to see how they pilot it, because that's a very interesting combination. But also, going out of the top 16, just a little bit further down, we did see a Dragapult Blaziken make it in 18th plus spot. So I thought that was actually really cool. I know I personally have tried some different Dragapult decks before, so it's nice to see people trying to get a little innovative with that. But also one other deck that I've seen a lot of talk about recently, even in locals, in 28th place is the Lopunny and Dusknoir deck, which, if you don't know how that works, it's basically you get the Dusknoir and you're able to switch into the Lopunny and hit big HP for 1 energy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that Blaziken deck too, because I like to see like what kind of innovations people have done. Sadly, not as much innovation I thought was gonna happen, at least from deck list wise. I haven't gone through all of them, but at least in this top couple of decks, to see any like new archetypes that were coming out. But definitely that Lopunny Dusknoir combo, pretty wild. I know that a lot of Goldango players before. I haven't really looked at some of these Goldango lists, but we're going to talk about playing Lopunny as well, because of the possibility of using that as your cornerstone counter and anything else either. But looking at the top 16 of these Goldango lists, not a lot of nothing too crazy. Either the Mega Mawile or the Hops Cramorant in there instead. So yeah, there are some decks that kind of came out, like Garchomp is in 35th place. There is a straight Kangaskhan deck, Buffalon Kangaskhan, at 27th as well. So interesting to see that. So just a lot of cool. I want to go through this a little bit more in depth later, and look at a lot of these deck lists and see if there's anything out there that's new that seem like cool to play. It doesn't seem like Phantasmal Flames really shook up the meta too much, at least this first tournament. Maybe a lot of people were a little bit more hesitant to play some of the new cards, or at least some of the other new archetypes that could come out, because they wanted to do well, grab onto Old Faithful like Dragapult Dusknoir, Goldango, Gardevoir, of course, still playing those, and just kind of, taking a deck that they know very well and just take their chances with that, instead of going all new and trying to play with the shiny new thing and maybe not do as well as they wanted to do. So, but it did pay off for Nikolai to play the shiny new thing. There was a version of Charizard Noctowl before. It was kind of clunky a little bit. I mean, it worked, but it didn't work. It was just took too much. And so really, really excited to play with this deck. I'm looking to play Charizard until it rotates. I'm excited to see how this kind of works out, and to try it out and play with it a little bit. So it was pretty cool to see that. So Yeah, I think Stuttgart was a little bit more exciting for me than LAIC, just to see that, to hear that stuff.
I
So
love seeing the innovation from the different players,
yeah,
especially from around the world, because um, I mean, everybody from around the world, they're all going to have different opinions. And sometimes we may see a little bit of innovation here, but I feel like sometimes when you go to other countries, I feel like you can see a little bit more innovation over there. So it's always really cool to see. And there was one more that, as you were talking and I was looking past these, there was one interesting one that you will probably never guess what made uh it was they made it in 37th place with slacking EX.
let's go. That lazy dude. The only reason he went to 37th though is because Slacking's really lazy, so didn't want to do any better than that. That's why. So
He was like, "Yeah, I'm done,
yeah,
but I made it this far for
yeah,
you."
yeah. It was good I could do. I mean, come on, his abilities is called Born to Slack. If your opponent has no Pokemon EX or Pokemon Vs in play, this Pokemon can't attack. So it has to be against an EX to attack right now because Vs are no longer legal. But he is doing for 2 energies, 280, great swing, and discarded energy from this Pokemon. So very respectful amount of damage that doing their 280 straight away. So it's pretty cool to see. So that's a pretty cool deck list too. Check that one out. But yeah, but sadly, that is the end of Pokemon for the year as far as regionals or any like official tournaments are going on. Definitely please check out your locals because cups and challenges are still happening as we're closing out this year. Have some fun with that. So with that being said, you might be wondering, well, what are you guys going to talk about for the next couple of weeks until January 16th when Toronto uh, starts off the regional cycle once again? And that's a great question. We are definitely looking to do some more fun topics for you. And this is really where you guys come into play, right? Let us know what you want us to talk about. Send us your questions, send us your topics on all of our socials, X, YouTube, and Instagram at TM Talk Podcast. Reach out to us through email at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. And send us what you'd like us to talk about. We definitely have some ideas. We're going to move forward, definitely do some interviews with some local and maybe some professional players or professors as well. Give you their insight and aspects to the game and what kind of brought them on their trainer slash professor journey. So looking forward to doing some of those with you all and giving you that different brand of content. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be new. And so looking forward to that. And yeah, and Ashley, you got anything for our listeners right now?
All right. So for those of you who are listening, I'm giving you a chance to choose a deck for me. So we have a challenge and a cup coming up this month, and I get to play in it. So I'm going to let you guys be the voices for my deck for my challenge. So here in the next couple weeks, I gotta have a deck. So if you have a suggestion for a deck, a fun deck, a meta deck, I don't really care. Let's see what you guys can come up with. And if you have a crazy deck list, send it to us, and you might get lucky, and I might tell you that I played your deck at our challenge, and then I will tell you what placement I get from it. So this is your chance, guys.
So go ahead and vote for Slacking. And make sure Ashley's playing that for both our challenge and our cup. Yeah, I am organizing and judging both those. So yes, I'm excited for Ashley to get some time, get some play time in there and play some Pokemon. So let's get her something fun to play. Like what about let's see what else is out there that's fun. Conkeldurr. Play some Conkeldurr. Let's
Hey,
play
I
some.
actually haven't played that one. I mean, I talked about it a while back, and I just never built it. But there's also another one that I was thinking about building a long time ago.
Mhm.
We were talking about it, but I never built it. And I feel like maybe I should. It would be good. Unless our one player plays a certain deck, then it would be a bad idea.
You gotta keep that in the wraps. You're gonna keep that one in the wraps just in case, right? You can't
Yeah,
give away
just
all
in
the
case.
secrets. All
Yeah.
right. All right. But yeah, definitely send in your votes. Send in what you think Ashley should be playing in these next couple of tournaments that we have coming up. Let's send it in sooner than later so we can get some cards just in case if we need to or anything like that. We'll definitely band together and make sure that we get all those cards so she can play that and give you her report on how those go for her. So report back to us and let us know what you think. Really looking forward to it. It should be fun. So closing out the year, a lot of cool content for you guys on this podcast, but also take the time now to spend your time with family and friends. Pick up maybe the Battle Academy if you never played Pokemon before. Try out some Pokemon, play that with you, or pick up Go on your phone and go catch some of these celebration Pokemon that are out there for the Christmas time, winter time Pokemon that are out that way. Or maybe fire up your Switch, fire up your Game Boy, and maybe get some Pokemon playing out there and try to be the very best like no one ever was. But I hope you all who decide to do that. We will be coming back to you with some episodes coming here in the next following weeks. Expect us probably take some time off for Christmas time, but definitely we're going to have some new episodes for you there. So I'm hoping that you guys take this opportunity though to try out some Pokemon, play it and see how you like it and see if you can use some of the advice that we've given you to help you on your Pokemon journey.
But yeah, we are going to have some cool episodes coming up. So if you also have some questions for our future guest, like we said, we will probably have a player or two, professor. We're going to try and see what guests we have and who we can get to come on the show with us. So if you have any particular questions for them as well, and if it's for a professor, just say question for a professor, question for a player, and just let us know. Send us an email, message us on Instagram or X, or just comment. I will personally make some posts here in the next couple weeks so we can get some of those questions, because we want to hear what you guys want to listen to. Like, we could just talk about whatever the whole time, but it's not going to be beneficial unless you want to listen to it. So let us know, and hopefully we can get you some good episodes coming up.
Yeah, for sure. And who knows, maybe me and Ashley will be playing a game against each other and telling you guys our thought process as we go through the game and things like that. So
I feel like if we do that, we should probably do like an actual video for the first time.
Yeah. Like do some screen share and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. We could definitely try out some of that stuff. So I think that'd be pretty cool. So So thank you so much for listening. As always, glad to be back and doing these again. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you know how to get a hold of us. But if you don't, you can find us on our socials, Instagram, YouTube, and X at TM Talk Podcast, or you can find us through email with tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Appreciate all that feedback. Like I've said before, thank you everybody for listening, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You just used TM Talk. I hope it was super effective for you. Whether you're building a deck or building a league, remember, you've got this and we've got your back.
If today's episode boosted your stats, share it with your party. And until next time, keep training, keep teaching, and keep passing that knowledge on.